compounding interest will save your life.
You'll
Not
know when
even
you're
if you
ready.
save.
Their kids are going to spend it all. Saved a lot, and they saved often. We tell them that they go till work is optional.
Save and sacrifice now so you can live free later. Hello, everyone. This is David Shaft, and welcome to the podcast. Hello, everyone. This is David Shaft, and welcome to the podcast Conversations That Count. Today, I'm joined by a fantastic financial advisor here, a legend in the business. Aaron, before I go too overboard, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, David. My name's Aaron Noskey, and I'm a financial advisor. I own my own business within, we're practicing out of Rochester is my office. I have a staff of 3, a family of 3, and we're living life at the fullest right now. So I have many journeys how I got to this point, but I'm a financial planner by trade, and we help a lot of people solve their problems by figuring out what they need to do to get to retirement or their goals.
I love that. And can you tell everyone what the name of your business is? We know where to look you up.
Lakeview Financial is the name. We're out of Rochester. So my partner, Donnie Vola, who just retired in April, congrats to her, but she lives on a lake. And so she was looking for a name of a company. She's like, well, I have a Lakeview, so we're Lakeview Financial. And so that's what we're going to be for now. But I was able to go through a succession plan and purchase a business from her alongside my clientele. So we have a thriving business right now in Rochester.
I love that. And you probably helped a lot of people get their own lake views. So
yeah,
it might still work out well.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually been privy to see many people retire in the last 5 years within Dawn, because she is older. Obviously, she just retired. So I got to see the fruition of all the planning and work that she's done with these particular clients. And throughout COVID and that as time progressed, her clients aged with her. And so a lot of those people were retired as well. And so it was pretty cool to give them that news that they can call it a day and retire.
Man, that had to be amazing, right? Because they've seen the entire practice grow, and you kind of get to, with that succession, also see theirs.
Yeah, exactly. I've been fortunate to be able to be part of that. It's funny though, when people do get the word that they can retire, they freak out. I'm just gonna let you know. Yeah, because like for years, you're saving, working, busy, life comes at you, and all of a sudden you can just call it quits. It usually takes somebody about a year or two to call it. Now, there's certain people that can just take off and they're going to golf every day or they're going to boat every day. A lot of people have a hard time with it, and we've seen that before.
There has to be like a level of nervousness too, because even though you hear you can retire, it's like you've worked so far to get there. It's been so long. To get that call is probably almost a shock.
Yeah, and the fact that you are a saver, because most people that get a thumbs up by their advisor means that they've done a good job saving and they're fairly conservative with their money. So when they do get the thumbs up, that means that they really have to change the way they're thinking, and they have to start spending money from their IRAs or 401ks and that's a tough pill to swallow for some people. In fact, I have clients still that I just beg them. Life is too short. I always say YOLO. Like, I'm maybe a different type of advisor, but I hate to see people work so hard and save all this money and then they don't spend any. And that happens. And then guess what? Their kids do. Their kids are going to spend it off. So, I'm always making sure that they're understanding that if they're not going to use it, their kids are going to use it, and probably not the way they want to use it. So we better try to find a way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a wild thing to think about. You spend your whole life working, saving, and you've developed such a saving muscle that you can't even spend money if you need to.
A
Like you
little
need to
bit.
spend the money and it's almost impossible to part with it.
And sometimes it comes with age. Early 60s is not too old, but as you get older and older, you just have less desire to travel or do a lot of things. Now, that's not everybody. Some people like to spend money. Trust me on that. So, but the majority of the people that have saved, I've just noticed that they've had a hard time spending it.
That's wild. But before we get too deep into it, because I can already tell this is going to be good. I gotta ask, I have to. Can you tell us, Aaron, because I'm assuming you and your clients as well, for them to be able to save like that. Can you tell me about a time you had a conversation that counted, right? Something that really impacted you, maybe changed the direction of your life, something you'd be willing to share?
That's pretty crazy. I don't know if I've had one particular conversation. I just remember certain things that's impacted my life through the years. Uh, I always thought it was important to have an advisor myself, whether it's my personal advisor, just to kind of share like their thoughts on what I should do. I mean, life's kind of a journey. You guys are all probably going through this. You don't typically find exactly what you would love to do and like to make the money that you want to make right away. So I just remember there was a time where I was making a transition and I talked to one of my advisors. He was, in fact, my pastor at the time, and he's just like, you know what, Aaron? Like life is short. Like nothing's forever. Just just have some good experience, learn a lot from it, and it's really just going to be a stepping stone in the path of your life. And because like you're always just so worried about that one path, that one move. You're going to go
Yeah.
independent. You're going to go from mortgage broker to doing something different. But in reality, it's just a kind of a stepping stone. It's an experience in life. And once I learned that and I was able to be there like 3 to 5 years, I can't remember right now offhand, about 5 years. Um, it was just a good experience in my life for sure. So nothing too deep. I'm sure I have more, but we'll see what we get into.
No, I think that's amazing. And it was your pastor too. So you kind of had guidance from the pastor. We're looking for guidance from the Lord. I think that's an awesome thing. And something you said that I've actually been getting a consensus on, especially from some of our even more successful interviewees, is that there's rarely ever just one conversation, right? Or like one just thing that happened or one person you spoke to. I like how you mentioned you had like advisors. So you
Yep.
constantly were finding different people who are coaching and giving you feedback. So when you're looking for whether it be a financial advisor, right? Whether it be your pastor, maybe just a mentor, do you have any advice on what you look for or like how you find those people? Do you
You
stumble
kind of
upon them?
you kind of know, in my view, that who the
Okay.
people are that you look up to that you would call and ask them for their opinion. And it's not always a religious thing. It's more like this person's wise. He's made good decisions or she's made good decisions in her life. So that's kind of what I base it upon. Some of it's the same life path. You know, I went down the financial end. So I had a buddy that was kind of in the financial end, very wise guy. I just call him. We could talk for hours. So I have 2 or 3 guys like that that you can call upon and just be like, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Here's a rundown. Give me your thoughts. Maybe I'm not seeing this right. But life is full of a lot of big decisions. Sometimes you just got to make it on your own. But a lot of times it's easier to have a buddy or somebody you can lean on.
Dang, I think that's huge, especially in the world we live in now where we seem to be less and less connected.
Yeah, true, true.
That's a good place to take it. Now with you being a financial advisor, right? Not only that, but building your own business. When is the right time to really start, I guess, even looking for financial advising? Is there a wrong time? When do you recommend people start reaching out to you?
I think if you're at a point that you want to start saving, or that you're above the saving in your 401k, or you're not sure if you're saving enough, or simply that you really care of if you're on the right path, then that's the time probably to reach out to somebody.
Okay, so it just sounds like the second you know you're ready to save,
Yeah,
it's
you'll
not
know when
even
you're
if you've
ready.
saved.
Yeah, you'll know if you're not making the type of money that you're not putting very much money in your 401k. You'll kind of know that that's not the time to talk to somebody, probably. although I'd always be willing to talk to somebody about, how to save in their 401k and stuff like that. But ultimately is we really just got to start going and saving as much as possible. Some of us aren't privy to a 401k or a retirement plan. Maybe we have our own business, or we are 1099 or what it might be. Then a financial advisor can help you set up the proper account so you can start saving.
Because even if you're self-employed, right, there's options for IRAs or setting up 401ks for your business and your employees, right?
Absolutely, for sure.
That's super good advice.
Yeah.
Now, what I also wanted to ask is, right, what do you see most people build their wealth from? Right? When someone's built wealth, right, when you call and say, "Hey, you can retire," is it because they were all business owners and they, are making a ton of money? What are their circumstances usually when you get there?
No, it's funny. I don't have a firm full of wealthy people. I mean, maybe if you look from the outside, you're going to think like this guy might be wealthy, but in reality, I have teachers, I have I have managers of banks, I have mortgage wholesalers, past mortgage. I have a lot of people from various backgrounds that made decent money, but what they did do is they saved a lot and they saved often. And they've had a really good run in the market. I mean, if you look from the 1980s to now, and you look at the charts, I'd be glad to pull up one for you. But it's just amazing what the dollar would do and how much money they've made in the market. And that's not really saying much that we did much magic for them, but we helped them save and kind of plan for that. So the people that really build wealth are the ones that are able to really save and then save on top of what is expected of them. So when we do a financial plan for someone, we set goals, right? For example, you make $100,000. You don't want to change your lifestyle, so you want $100,000 of income in your retirement starting at a certain date, maybe age 60. So we can back into that and figure out how much money you need to save each year to get to that point. And so that's huge. And a lot of those people did that. It's pretty amazing to see.
I think something you touched on too is something that needs to be debunked in general. So I remember when I first started in the mortgage industry and I started working with like a few high net worth clients, or not even net worth, net income. They had high net income. And I thought because they made a ton of money, I was like, oh, I probably can't help these people. They make so much, they don't need help. But something you talked about is, okay, you make 100,000, but when you're no longer working, you still want $100,000 a year lifestyle. The same thing is, even if you make $1 million a year, but you spend $1 million a year, when you retire, you're no longer working and making that. So how do you continue that lifestyle? So a huge part of it does come, at least from what I've seen, to the actual, like, are you saving? And how much are you spending out of what you make?
That's correct. That's right. And it comes down to what your debts are too at the end,
True.
like how much that you need to live off it. So somebody that was making $1 million a year, but now that everything is paid off, maybe they don't need $1 million at the end, at retirement.
That's
So
a good point too.
the same thing goes for $100,000 earner. If they can keep their debts under control and they can still live off $100,000 lifestyle, maybe they could maybe reduce it a little bit. So that's things that we weigh within our financial planning system. It's earn more, save more, make more, or the reverse, earn, make less, or save less, like get less money for retirement. So it's just decisions. Everything that we do in life is like it's an action and reaction. So if you don't save a lot, you're not going to get a lot. If you save a lot, you're going to have a lot in retirement. And some people just live for today too, which is fine. It's just it's just not ideal when you're living off just a social security.
That's a fact. And I've had clients where they're only making 50,000 a year, which isn't only, that's still good income, especially in any economy, but
Sure.
who are making 50,000 a year and they have more saved up and invested than some of my clients who have 250,000 they make a year or 300. So it does come to your point, choices.
It's amazing. I have this one client, and I gotta probably be careful, but she was just, you know, a single woman. I think she got divorced when she was 40, lived a very conservative lifestyle. I go to her house once in a while, little tiny house, but she was an assistant for a guy for years, and she saved over $1 million herself. It's pretty amazing. Making
Wow.
probably making 30 to 40,000 a year, if that.
And she started at 40 after her divorce and still managed to do that.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy story. She probably lived really frugal.
For
I
sure.
mean, she just traded in a car that she had for 12 years. And I was just like, I'm like, you can afford to get a different car. Why not lease a car? I'm like, you got enough income? She's still working, by the way, and she's 85. So
Stop.
she's
She's
doing it
got a
because she's sharp.
million plus still working at 85.
She doesn't like, you have to have a purpose in life, right? And so if she thinks if she retires, she'll die. So she's gonna keep
Wow.
working. It's a pretty amazing story. She's a wonderful lady. I have a good relationship with her. Uh, this is a pretty amazing story.
And you talked about her purpose. She works because that's a part of her purpose. Now, something I had heard on I don't know if it was a podcast or news or whatever it was, but something it said is before you even reach out to a financial advisor, you're encouraged to have like your why, right? Like your long term, where do you want your life to be, right? Like you said, some people live for right now. They need the money right now. Then some people are like, well, I need to retire in 10 years, or I need to be able to retire in 20. So how would you recommend people go about finding like their why, like what they want to see for their life? I know that's a hard question,
That
but
that's a tough one. So when you're 25 or 30, the last thing you're thinking about is any type of retirement. I guess I guess what I would think of more, and sometimes I hate using the word retirement, but it's just building wealth, and then that's going to bring on a better options for you. Life is about options. So if you don't have an option, you're going to be working longer and taking Social
yeah.
Security whenever they can get it to us. That's going to come later, by the way, for young people, because there's definitely not going to pay out 62.
Mm-hmm.
So the option I would take is that we have some money building wealth, whether it's for retirement or not, in the future, that we'll know that we'll have that money. So it's
Mm.
that's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to help people build wealth too.
I get you. So it's more about building, you're more building people choices, right? You're giving them freedom. You're not saying you have to retire at this age, but build yourself the freedom to choose when you want to. And then we can
That's
tell
right.
you how soon you can make
Mm-hmm.
that choice.
Yeah, we tell them that they go till work is optional. So, right, is work optional for
Yeah.
you? It's not optional for me yet,
Nah, no,
right?
not yet. I
So
wish.
unfortunately, at one point in your life, you want work to be optional. When is that going to be?
Mm.
That's your choice. It takes a lot of money to retire. I'll just tell you, especially prior to 60. People, I always had this goal that I was gonna at age 30 have $1 million, and it's kind of funny. I was way short of that, and but some people I talk to, maybe younger, they're thinking they want to retire at 55, and I'm like, you better get going, because you need a lot of cash to be able to retire. Because think about it, if you can't pull Social Security for 10 years after that, you're living solely off of what you've saved. And so unless you find a part-time job, but is that retirement? I don't know.
No, I would agree if you still have, because again, then it's not the choice of if I want to work, it's you're still working a part-time job. You might not be working as much, but you still don't have the choice to not show up to work.
That's right. That's right. So it's interesting. I ran these numbers for you real quick. I put $1,000 initial investment, made an average of 6% a year for 30 years. And you save 6,000 a year, typically, like the Roth IRA or something like that, or 401k. At the end of that 30 years, you would have 687,000. That's only 6,000 a year, compounding at 3% each year. Like you're adding 3% more. But typically, as you get older, like 40s and 50s, I'm in my mid 40s, you start making more money. as time progresses, you can put more and more money away. But for now, you got to lay the groundwork. This is just the bare minimums. You put $1,000 or 6,000 a year in, you could have almost $1 million.
I mean, that's nothing. That's
30
what,
years.
500 a month?
Yeah,
That's
500 a month.
that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. And if you made more, if you made more than 6%, it's going to be worth a lot more too. But I like conservative numbers. It's pretty crazy. So like, and then we run $10,000 a year, which is tough. I get it. That's less than 1,000 a month, but that's 1.14 million at retirement at 30 years. So if you're 30 years old, there you are at 60.
A millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And
for
then
everyone who's not watching, I do want you to all know that he was running these numbers while talking. That's how much of a pro he is. I mean, it looks fun, but
yeah, I appreciate that. No, it's a simple calculator that I've been using for a long time to kind of show young people the value of saving now.
I think
Yep.
that's something too that's almost under discussed, right? Everyone's like, oh, $500 a month. What's that? That's really not going to equal anything. But heck, to the calculation you just ran, that's north of of $500,000, right? Then it's like,
Yeah.
picture what world you'd be able to have $500,000.
Well, it goes a long way. I can tell you that for sure. So whether or not that's enough for retirement, that's another debate. But that'd be if that was the bare minimums you came to at retirement, you're going to be just fine.
That's fantastic, Aaron. Thank you
Yep.
for running those numbers for everyone. I appreciate
Sure.
you so much.
Yeah, not a problem.
Now, what I wanted to ask too is, do you ever find it challenging for people to balance that with their family life, right? Like, especially with you having a family of three outside of yourself, and then still trying to save, still trying to, live a quality of life. Do you ever find people struggling with that? Is it challenging at first? Does it get much easier when you start giving them that advice?
Yeah, yeah. I just some people are really it depends on the type of person. There's a lot of people that are workaholics and they love their work and they're going to be there till and you probably work with some of them, I'm sure that they
I'm
don't
kind of
they're
one of them. So
yeah, a lot of times they don't want to leave and then there's some people when it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, they're the first out the door. I, you know, for me, it's just I'm actually not an early riser, so I'm a late worker. So I typically go in a little bit later. We're not talking too late, but uh, definitely I'm not getting there at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. So
okay.
to each his own for people. It's like everybody does it in different ways, but it hasn't really impact. I haven't seen it impact families because really they're just saving through their work, they're saving through their financial advisor, they're just making good choices down the road.
Love that. I appreciate
Yeah.
you, Aaron, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for even taking the time to speak today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is good.
Thank you. Now, as we kind of come to like a wrap up, work towards a close, is there any other advice, anything you want people to know, recommend, say to someone who's never invested or maybe someone who invests quite often? Any last pieces of advice?
You don't have to you don't have to be nervous about advisors. There's a lot of good people out there that want to help, and if you went to someone typically, and you had asked me this prior to this, like, what's the best way to find a financial advisor? There's circumstances that you run into. A lot of times it's just through friends or family that would recommend. A lot of times you meet people on the podcast. I don't know. No, like you just meet people through your life that you want to have a relationship with. And so that's kind of how I got in this business is like I was in the mortgage industry and I love that mortgage industry, but I saw the void of the long-term relationship. And so as an advisor, you get to see these people on a regular basis. They're people that you grow to love. Some people you don't get along with all the time, it's just the way it is. But ultimately, on the long term, we're just trying to help people. If you're a young person, you're just looking for an advisor or you don't know about investing, really just got to start saving. And you can simply start saving in your savings account that you can't touch, or you can open a Vanguard brokerage account or a Roth IRA, start saving inside of that. Um, I'm not one to save on expenses. A lot of people try to find advisors that's the cheapest, or they don't want an advisor and go to Vanguard or whatever like that. But we act as a business coach. We help people make good decisions. Maybe we're a little bit more expensive than free, but we all have to work, and we're going to be there for the people that work with us. So, uh, you know, you just got to start saving, whether it's through your retirement plan, through your personal savings account, open up a IRA or bank. You can do a Vanguard. There's all kinds of different things. But the key is not to touch it and be consistent. You have to be consistent. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to day trade. You don't have to buy anything in particular. We're just helping, like, what I would do is buy indexes or growth funds. Just want to be attached to the right companies.
I think that's huge. And actually, you led me to something else. So something I think you said is important is you're not free. And if you were free, anyone that says it's free, I get suspicious. Nothing in this world is free, right? If you would have said, hey, we're free up front or anything like that, it's like, so the fee's going to come later. So I feel like that's something to keep in mind too. You might hear some people in the financial industry in all sectors, right? They might say, oh, this is free or this isn't going to cost anything. I strongly believe if you read deep enough into whatever document you're handed, you'll find something. You'll find a
Well,
fee, a
yeah.
cost.
Yeah, it could be wrapped up in the funds and stuff like that. But most of the time, if you meet with an advisor, you shouldn't have to pay.
Yeah,
Like if
not
you,
for a meet,
like,
but I mean, if like they're managing your money, right? It kind
right,
of, it's like
precisely.
you need to be charged something, even if it's like a fee-based practice, right? It's some
You're
type
right
of
about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there has to be revenue because you think about it, like these advisors we're trying to make a living as well, and then the
yeah.
bigger we get, the more of a team we have to have. Then our expenses go up, and technology fees, and you'd be surprised. It goes, you have to have revenue to exist as a business.
I mean, 100%, right? How else are you going to save for retirement? You have no
How
revenue.
else are you going to be your advisor if I go
Exactly.
broke being free?
How could I trust you to help me retire and you're going broke giving everything away?
That's right. That's right. Precisely.
I love that. No, and I think that's huge too, right? So something last thing I gotta ask now because you brought it to my attention. So something you talked about is relationships, right? What are some of the things you feel you do, right? Because you're obviously an amazing financial advisor, else we probably wouldn't be having
Well,
this
I
interview.
appreciate it.
But well, what do you feel are some of the things you do with your practice, the people that work with you do to really cement those relationships versus what you might see in the industry?
I don't know if we do anything in particular that's like way out of, like, we have client events. We like go to the Tigers games and I take a lot of people golfing. We do all like sorts of client driven events, not looking for business, but just to be around them and show them that we care, and kind of just be there with them and stuff like that. But ultimately it comes down to service in my business, service, and really caring about the people that we're making good choices. Like, ultimately, I am fiduciary responsibility. I have to be a fiduciary. But I always want to do the right thing by the client. And I always get some ladies that will say, well, do the same thing you do for your mom. And candidly, I always would. Every time they wouldn't have to say that to me. I would always do what I would think was right for them in the investments. Like, now, do we lose money in investments at times? If money goes down, money goes up, right? Yeah. But ultimately it's just the coaching, the service, and just the do right attitude that our team does that I think sets us apart.
That's huge. And you gave me flashbacks. I started thinking back to when I was early in my career and someone said to me, they said, hey, make sure you treat me like, your mom, or I think it was like a sister or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I didn't think much of it. But then I had a mentor who was like, yeah, I mean, they're everyone, someone's sister, right? Everyone is a sister to somebody or someone's
Fair
brother
enough.
or someone's
Right.
mother or father, or grandfather. And once I started thinking about that, I was like, wow, what if it was my grandma on the other side of that phone? Would I talk different? Would I say different things? Or what if it was my brother who called? And if it wasn't me who answered, would I want that person to treat them the same way, I would treat
Mm,
them?
mm.
So I love that you said that. I think that's
Yeah, that's a
sometimes
good
missed in
point.
everything we do.
Right.
So
Mm.
thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you. You're an amazing gentleman.
You
Now,
too.
thank you. Now, I want to recap a little bit of the stuff we covered, right? And you can tell me if I missed something or if I'm way off base. So, really, it's never too late and it's never too early to start. The later you start, though, the less choices you're going to have. And the longer you get to have those, the longer it will be until you get to have those choices. The earlier you start, the earlier you start saving, you start investing, the earlier you give Aaron a call, right? The sooner you get to start making choices in your life, right? Whether it be in 30 years, 20 years, if you're super aggressive, whatever that pace is. And it's, you don't have to be, make millions. You don't have to be a business owner. You just have to be responsible and you have to care and you have to know, at least have an idea of what you want in life. Do you want to be able to choose to not work and still going anyway, like the sweet 85-year-old woman you were telling me about?
That's right.
Or do you want someone else to make that choice for you because you never made the choice to save? And compounding interest will save your life, right? Sooner you start investing, the sooner that interest compounds, sooner it's going to impact your life.
That's right.
To bring that all together, relationships are everything. So we really talked about how important it is to have relationships with the people around you, with your advisors, even the financial ones. You need to have a real relationship, and you want to work with people who have a real relationship with you and will treat you like a sister, a mother, a brother, and are going to be with you. And to your point, who will want to see you retire, who take value in giving you that call and saying, hey, Mary, congratulations. You can go spend your money, right? Stop
That's
saving.
right.
You've
Right.
had you've worked hard enough. Go have fun. And then if they choose to, if not, either way, they now have the choice
That's
because
correct.
of great advisement, great mentors, and a great financial advisor. So I don't know if there's anything I missed that you like to add to that recap.
No, we are hiring if you'd like to join us as a financial advisor because it sounds like you recapped it very beautifully.
Hey, I appreciate you, Aaron. It was really all of your knowledge. I just got to spit it back out.
Right
So
on.
thank you. Now, as we wrap this up, I would love if you would share at least a little bit of your contact, the main place, if you want anyone to reach out to you for services, and how they can get a hold of it. I know you talked about it earlier, but it will also have some links in the description. But anything you want to share for people to reach out to or go to.
Well, I mean, I think the link would be good, but my name's Aaron Oskey, Oskey. I'm out of Rochester. You can easily find me at Lakeview Financial. It's www.lakeviewfc.com. F as in Frank, C as in Charlie.com. I'd love to help anybody that could use my services, but I'm just hoping that I can always impact one person with my actions today. So somebody out there that was awakened, but that they need to start saving. It's really a difficult time. I get it. Inflation is just rearing its ugly head right now, and the dollar is not going as far, but you have to give up to be able to save here for the future. So whether it's like that one cup of coffee or a run at Dairy Queen or what it might be, you have to kind of give up some of those pleasures to be able to save early. And then in the future, you're going to have to do a lot less heavy lifting than you will if you waited.
I love
So,
it.
yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. And you save and sacrifice now so you can live free later, or you suffer and sacrifice later. Either way, you're sacrificing something.
Yep.
And
Options, right? We want options.
options. I
Yeah.
want options and choices. I
You
love
always
it.
want options, even aside from saving within your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always want options. You don't want to always take the option, but if you can leave yourself a good option or a different idea. My dad was a bricklayer by trade, pretty crazy story, but he owned a business and he mentored me. But he didn't want me going into business. He thought I should do something because could have a different option. So at first I went to school to be a teacher until I did teaching assisting. And I was like, no, that's not my thing. But ultimately, I think my job is part of teaching is just we're teaching people different things about the financial markets. Like either we're going deep and talking about standard deviation in the markets, or we're just teaching simple that you need to save X amount of money per month to get to your retirement, whatever it takes. But I just like that word option right now, because if you have the money and the means, then you can have the lifestyle that you would like in the future.
Options it is then. Keep them
There
open.
you go.
You have a
Yeah.
great dad, by the way. That's awesome. He
Yeah.
encouraged them.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
No, you made me think. My grandma was the same way. She was a chef before I was born, and then retired by the time I was born. But something she always said, she encouraged school, after school activities, martial arts, sports, whatever it was, she wanted me to do it all. So that way, to your point, I had as many options as I could think of. The broader my scope got, the more options I got.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that about your dad. That's awesome. He was a
Yeah.
bricklayer.
Yep. Yep. And it's good. This is good podcast that we are doing for people. You're teaching them different facets of business and different life and different people that you come on here. So it's really good for sure.
That's, I appreciate you. I'm honored for the mentorship. And I figured if
Yeah.
I'm getting honored, if I can even share any of it with others. That's what we're
There
here
you
for,
go. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So everyone, again, you've heard Aaron. That's true sincerity in his voice. I mean, if that's not honesty, that's not a sincere human being. I don't know one, and I like to think I can tell. But check him out. Make sure to give him a call. Lakeview Financial up in Rochester. As well, you will have links in the description for his website too. So make sure to check him out. Also, don't think that you have to have a ton of money now to give him a call. Give him a call again if you've even thought about saving and you just don't know where to start. Give Aaron a call. He's more than happy to get you started in that path. So thank you all. This is again David Shaft, the conversations that count. Everyone have an amazing night. Go out there, win, have some fun. Be blessed. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Conversations That Count. Sometimes what we find is YouTube will unsubscribe us from our favorite channels, as well as when we finish an episode, we'll have enjoyed it so much, we'll forget to hit the subscribe button because we'll be so caught up with it. My ask is so that we can keep the channel free, so that I can continue bringing you amazing guests, continue bringing you amazing practices that improve all of our skills as we go into every day and every week. If you can hit that subscribe button, if you can like, share, it goes a very long way to, again, keeping the channel free, allowing us to continue providing you amazing content. And my promise is I will only continue to improve the content, improve the guests, and improve the best practices every single time. I will make sure every week and every month that it only gets better for you. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.